After I graduated, I have a degree in 2015. I've just left a job I didn't like. I am stuck in academic writing. I cannot be a manager. I am only an academic writer. So what next? So that's when I decided to go to Israel for an agricultural training for 11 months. And in this work, I actually think that is where my turning point came at. I had to leave my degree at the airport because the work that I went to do in Israel, it was very hands-on. It was basically harvesting, trellising. I really didn't need a degree for that kind of job. But also that is the moment that I realized that I don't need a degree. Like, yes, I did study a degree and it was useful because it's done that ilinipeleka Israel. But beyond that moment, now sasa ni hands-on. So I went to Israel and I got into that environment and I got into that work, which was relatively hard because the weather it's a desert. So you can imagine working under 40 degrees Celsius. I worked under very harsh conditions, 40 degrees Celsius, 12 hours a day. But I learned so much. And actually I think that's where the pride of being a farmer started. It began, that's the moment it began. Because I saw these farmers and they are doing these amazing things and it's in the desert. So I decided that when I come back, I'm going to be a farmer. So I came back and fortunately I got into this program by KCB and MasterCard Foundations. And I think if there's one thing that I can be very proud of, it's being part of this project. I worked under very harsh conditions, but we managed. And I came back with a lot of experience. And I thought, if it can be done in the desert, why not in Kenya? So I came and here we are in my 192 meter squared greenhouse that is producing 300,000 Kenyan shillings per 9 months.
Keep it farming with AIM Agriculture. Hi, Ruth.
Hi, Innocent.
You're doing it.
Thank you.
This is amazing.
This is amazing.
If you come here, you can't believe this is Kenya.
This is Kenya.
Oh my goodness, I couldn't believe this is Kenya.
This is Kenya, Ngong.
I only see
very
this,
cold.
I only see this on the internet.
Yeah, you've been seeing it probably from me.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Please introduce yourself.
My name is Gahoni Mwaniki. On Facebook, Gahoni Mwaniki. On LinkedIn, Gahoni Mwaniki also. But I also have a very interesting hashtag. It's called Twitter Tuesday.
Wow. She will tell us why she has that hashtag. Guys, if you want to get the true stories from the real farmers, AIM Agriculture is the channel for you. You just need to like, subscribe, click the notification bell, and share. Each time we upload a new video, you'll always be the first one to watch it. Remember, we only focus on educating, not entertaining. Entertainment comes after educating. That's why I had to bring you Ruth. She was my classmate. A very quiet person.
Not so quiet anymore, apparently.
She's doing it, Ruth. Tupeleke shambani. So that you can see what you're doing.
Welcome, welcome.
Oh, this is a farm, huh?
Yes. Hi, naitwa Gahoni. My name is Gahoni Mwaniki. I am a tomato farmer, a hydroponics tomato farmer in Kibiko, Ngong. I have been a tomato farmer for 3 years now, from 2020 until today. And this is my 3rd season of tomatoes. So I grow a variety called Anna F1. It's a greenhouse variety. Actually, Antonio is also my classmate. And I did agribusiness in school. We were classmates. I have always wanted to farm, but when I finished school, I got a job as a marketing assistant at a local investment firm in Kenya. But I always felt the farm. I always felt that the farm was calling to me, or maybe I was calling to the farm. And so in 2017, I left my employment, but with the intention of going into farming. Unfortunately, I didn't go into farming. I got into academic writing. And I spent around 2 years in academic writing. And by the time I was coming out of the academic writing, I was feeling very drained, very stuck, because that when I left my job, that is not where I wanted to be. So in 2018, there was an opportunity to go to Israel. And I applied and I got the chance. So I went to Israel for 11 months. And when I was there, that's when I think my mental switched, that I can be a farmer and that it is possible to be a farmer. So we were doing capsicum while I was in Israel, and watermelons and onions. And it was basically a lot of farm work. The temperatures there are very high. And I felt like if agriculture could be done in the desert, where the temperature are always 40 degrees Celsius at least, why can we not do it in Kenya? So when my 11 months were over, I came back in 2019, and with the intention of now I'm going to go into farming. For that November in 2019, I got an opportunity to get into this program called Young Africa Works, which I am until to date. So at Young Africa Works, it's a partnership between two foundations. And what they did was that they built greenhouses. Here we have 100 greenhouses, and each greenhouse was awarded to 2 people. So each greenhouse has partners. So me and my partner, we ran this greenhouse, and then there was another greenhouse, another partnership. And we've been here for 3 years. It's been a long journey of finding out whether I wanted to do tomatoes. I even did not even want to do tomatoes. In fact, when I thought about farming, I wanted to do traditional vegetables. I wanted to do terere, managu, saget, those kind of stuff, and doma and arrowroots. But when I came into this program, there was only 2 options. So it was either tomatoes or capsicum. So I figured out I can always eat tomatoes, even if I had a bit of experience from my Israeli farming of capsicum. But I decided tomato was much more suitable for the local market. So I did tomatoes for 3 years. So we do tomatoes in a hydroponic system. That basically means we don't use water. We don't use soil. So what we do, we use water. So we only use cocoa peat and pumice in replacement of soil. So the job of these 2 things are just to hold the roots. But then me as the farmer, I supply all the nutrients. I supply the nitrates, I supply the phosphates, calcium, magnesium, even the micronutrients, because the cocoa peat and the pumice, they don't have any nutrients. In fact, they are inert. So I have to supply everything. So I'm doing tomatoes, as you can see. These ones are around 5 months old. They were planted in February. And I can say tomato has been a rewarding journey, although it's been a journey of a lot of learning. In my first season, I actually lost the whole crop to tuta, to a pest called tuta, and I lost the crop also at some point. I was almost losing the crop to something called botrytis. It's a fungal infection, a very nasty fungal infection. And then when we recovered, then we saw a lot of tuta infestation. And from that moment, I was so afraid of tuta. Up to this point, by the way, all I talk about in tomatoes is tuta. I am afraid of tuta, and I always find ways to deal with tuta. I have to find a way to deal with tuta. So the first season was not good. We got, I think, 50% of our income out of the projected income. And then the second season was last year in 2022, which was not so bad. We had learned a lot. We had understood there was how to do this thing. So that is when we started. We did the second year now, the second season. So tukamaliza the second season iliisha last year in November, but I harvested until January, and then sasa ndio tukapanda the third season. So far the third season has been good. It's good, by the way. It's good because kama saa hizi, this is the second month of harvesting, but already tushafikisha 3 tons. And in my previous seasons, the entire season I did either 1 ton or 2 tons, and I still have around 3 more months to harvest from this tomato variety. So it usually goes for 9 months. Our farming space is 192 meters squared. It's a greenhouse, 8 by 24 meters. And we have 660 plants, and I'm expecting from this greenhouse to harvest 7 tons. So I think it's a very efficient system of production, because kama ningekuwa outside in the open field, then I would have needed a whole acre for me to be able to produce the 7 tons. So for that 7 ton, we have a contract with a buyer, and this buyer buys from us at 45 shillings. So if you do the math, that comes to around 300,000 per 9 months. And when you remove the cost of production usually comes to around 100 to around 50%, 40 to 50% of the total income. So now I can expect around 200,000 from this small space of land, which I think is a good deal. Although we also did a bit of math and found out that it can be better with a bigger piece of land. So with our agronomist, because we have an agronomist, an in-house agronomist who deals with all the 100 greenhouses, and everyone is given their own agronomist. So with the agronomist, we sat down and we wanted to find what is the ideal size of a greenhouse that can give you the maximum revenue. And we found that a greenhouse that is 500 meters squared can give you a good return. Now, like this one is 192 meters squared. So if we had 3 of these as a farmer, not just here, but if you want to start a greenhouse farming, if you had 3 of these greenhouses, that is around 500 meters squared. So that one you can multiply the income that you are getting from one greenhouse, which comes to around 900,000. If you remove the cost of production from the 3 greenhouses, let's say you remove 400,000, so you still have 500,000. So this 500,000, you're going to pay yourself because you've been working at the farm. You're also going to hire an agronomist, and this is one of the problems that most tomato farmers they do. You sit down and you decide, because Gahoni alilima nyanya na akafanya vizuri, then that's the thing that I'm going to produce. But it doesn't work that way. You have to have an agronomist. So with this 500,000, you can be able to hire an agronomist, you can be able to hire a full-time laborer, and you can also be able to pay yourself. So in that way, then you get into the business of agriculture. But as at now, because this is a program, we can't get 3 greenhouses, so it's just 1 greenhouse for me. I get the 200,000, which translates to about 30,000. I don't pay the agronomist, which is a benefit for me. I don't pay the utilities, the electricity, the soldiers. I don't pay. All I pay are the inputs that goes into the production process. So for me, I feel that's a very, very good deal that has been made possible by the fact that I have someone who supports me. So as I said before, I've always wanted to be a farmer, and I wanted to grow the sage, the jute mallow, and the traditional veggies. So there was a time when I immediately came from Israel. So I went to my mom's, I rented a bit of space from my mom's shamba, and I planted sage and I planted jute mallow, and I decided now this is where I'm going to start my farming journey. So this was in 2019, just before I came into this project. Unfortunately, even if I had money from Israel, the venture didn't work out because I didn't have a good source of water, so that was one. Also, the market was not very good. As a farmer, you should have a market and then produce. But for me, I produced, and then when everything was ready, then I decided to find a market. So unfortunately, that failed. And the second time when I decided, let me do this again, but now I'm going to do it again with better water. Now it rained. And when it rained, the farm was by the riverbank, and it came and it carried everything. The water came and carried everything. So I ended my journey with the traditional vegetables. There, fortunately, this program opened. So for me, I can say the most important thing that a farmer can have, and that I have found, is support. So we get the support we found this whole greenhouse pre-installed. We found the water, we found the electricity, we found the pumps, the hydroponic system. So my job was just to come in and do the production. And I found that my journey has been easier because of that. Even this money that I earn, the 300,000, the 200,000, it's enough for me because most of the inputs have been catered for. And I also have the support. Yes. Okay, like I said, this space is not enough for a farmer. And I decided one of the things that I'm going to do to be making a lot of money is that I'm going to go onto social media. And specifically, I went to social media, to Facebook and LinkedIn. And when I was there, I started posting about what I was doing. I started writing about my journey as a farmer, the failures that I have had, and my hopes and aspirations. And people started asking me, hey Gahoni, I want to come and see your farm. Where are you located? So then that's where this other new venture came, the one of agritourism. So I thought, why don't I be bringing people into my farm and then they can see what I am doing, which is, by the way, this is a very, very, very impressive site. Like we have 100 greenhouses. They are very, I think even Anthony can tell you that. There are 100 greenhouses. We are doing capsicum, tomatoes, and cucumber. And it's the first time visitors are usually mind blown because this is something that you haven't seen in Kenya. So I saw that this was a very a ripe opportunity for me. So that's when I started bringing in visitors. And so far right now we've had about 4 visits, of which most of them have been zimekuwa successful. Me, I can say they have been successful, and they have also supplemented my income from this greenhouse. And it's also something that can grow, something that grows a farmer's income, because being a farmer is difficult. You can wake up one morning and find nyanya zako zote zimechomwa na blight, and there is nothing you can do. So it helps if you have an additional source of income. So today I also had some visitors at the farm. They came. This was my 5th farm visit. And people are very receptive to this concept of let's go and see what this other person is doing, because I see that farming is attractive and we see a lot of videos, we see a lot of posts, but then there's that other step that we're in a back, like, so now I have seen them, now what? If you want to do tomato farming, it's not a must that you have a very big piece of land. You can have a piece like this one. This one is 8 by 24 meters squared. And you build your greenhouse. It can be metallic. For us, it's metallic, but you can also do a wooden one. You only need to have these structures. You can also be wooden. No, let me start again. If you want to do a greenhouse, you don't need to have a very, If you want to do tomato farmings, you don't need to have a very big piece of land. For me, this is 8 by 24 meters squared. And all I needed was this metallic structure, the papers, which is possible to have someone to construct it for you. You would also need, for a hydroponic system, you'd also need the soilless media, either coco peat or pumice. You'd need the plastic, it's called a trap, a maple trap, for you to hold the plants, for you to hold the soilless media in place. And you would also need labor. This greenhouse is very sensitive, so you have to have someone here full time. There's no off day for a tomato farmer. And after that, then you can get your seedlings. So preferably, because it's not a very big piece of land, this is around 660 plants. So preferably you can get them from a certified propagator. Just ensure they are certified. And then when you plant them, around 75 days from planting, if the weather is good, 75 to around 120 days, depending on where you are located. If it's hot, it's 75 days. If it's cold, it's around 120 days. Then you will start harvesting your first crop. And after that, normally here we harvest for 2 days a week. So we harvest on Mondays and we harvest on Thursdays. And we go like that for 6 months of harvesting.